Hello, you're welcome to Straight Talk Africa, which comes to you live from the Voice of America studios here in Washington. It's 18:30 UTC on Wednesday, February 7th. I am Shaka Sali.
Live from Washington, D.C., this is Straight Talk Africa on the Voice of America. Here's your host, Shaka Sali.
Today, we'll attempt to establish whether the political playing field is leveled as we approach the upcoming elections in Nigeria. Joining us here in Studio 47 to walk us through the discussion are two distinguished guests. Orji Kalu, Governor of Abia State and presidential candidate, and Lanre Banjo, gubernatorial candidate for Ogun State. And joining us live via telephone link-up from the capital, Abuja, is Alhaji Ibrahim Biyu, Director of Voter Education, the Independent National Electoral Commission of Nigeria. It's a pleasure to have the three of you on this program.
Thank you, Zaka.
Later in the program, we'll give you, the audience, a chance to call and talk with our guests. The number to call is 202-619-3111. The U.S. country code is 1. Let me go to Alhaji Ibrahim Biyu in Abuja. Good evening, Alhaji Ibrahim Biyu.
Thank you. Good evening. How are you over there in Washington?
I am terrific. How is the weather in Abuja? Is it very hot?
Wonderful. It's getting hot.
What about the political temperatures? How do they feel like? How is the ground so far? Are you ready to conduct a free, fair, and transparent election?
For the past few months, the electoral body of Nigeria is committed towards reforms, innovations, new ideas in the electoral process. What we're trying to do is to make sure that this time around is going to be one man, one vote. We believe that in the past electoral activities of Nigeria, there were a lot of malpractices, fraud, rigging in the system. What the new INEC is doing, what the new electoral body of Nigeria under the leadership of Professor Morris is doing, is to make sure that this time around we do a credible election, fair election, transparent election that will be accepted by Nigerians and by the entire world. The time is to make sure that the decision that we use about.
I'm afraid we seem to be having a bad line. Perhaps they may have to call you back. Can you hear me, Alhaji Ibrahim Biyu? Well, I guess that we have to try and get him back on the line. You just heard, of course, a senior official of INEC, the Independent Electoral Commission of Nigeria, saying that they are doing everything they can, Governor Orji Kalu, to make sure that this time around the elections in Africa's most populous nation are going to be credible. They are going to be free, they are going to be fair, transparent, perhaps meaning that the last ones, in fact, were rigged, correct?
Well, I think INEC should do a lot more to be able to conduct free and fair election for Nigerian people. And because if they fail to give Nigerian people what looks like a realistic election, it might cause a lot of problem in our country. It might bring a lot of questions which might not be good for the system, for our country, if INEC leaves their role to play another person's role. I believe Alhaji Biyu that they have been working hard, but they should work harder.
Do Do they have, for example, does INEC have the power to disqualify any particular candidate from running for office?
No, INEC have no such powers. Nobody, even the EFCC have no such powers. The only powers is derived from the Constitution and the electoral law, and there's no such powers in those two documents. They have no powers at all.
But in an interview, Ibrahim Biu said that INEC, for example, has been screening, that INEC has not been screening but verifying. What is the difference between screening and verifying? And they are talking about, really, this is an exercise that is aimed at weeding out what they characterize as dubious and questionable characters.
Well, they must look inner to some of the president's friends who are more dubious than the others. And I believe INEC have no such powers. And to screen, they might have powers to just look at certificate, what you have given to you, whether, because people have sent photocopies of their credentials to them. They might have powers to look at the originals and not the rest of them, but they have no powers to stop anybody from contesting an election. It will be causing a lot of problems, and I'm sure it's not going to augur well for our country, because nobody can stop me, for example, from not contesting an election. Nobody.
I see. Nobody can.
Nobody.
Let me go to Abuja. Alhaji Ibrahim Biu, I'm sorry that we lost you temporarily, but we are obviously delighted that you are back. Does your institution have constitutional powers, for example, to disqualify any particular candidate from running for public office?
Our position is not to disqualify any candidate. Today in Nigeria, we have 50 political parties, and the 50 political parties submitted lists of candidates to the electoral body. It is our duty to verify the candidates. We are not screening. We agree the screening is completely the responsibility of the political parties, but it is our duty to verify the candidates. What we are trying to verify is very simple constitutionally. We want to make sure that anybody that is vying for a position of a governor or president in Nigeria is above the age of 35 years. Anybody that wants to be governor or president of Nigeria must be a naturally born Nigerian. That person must have at least a high school education. That person must be recommended by a political party. And our position is virtually advisory. We will advise the political party that the name of this candidate that you submitted to INEC cannot fly, because that person did not comply with the constitutional requirement for him to stand for election.
I see.
It is left for the political party to decide whether to file another candidate or not to file any candidate at all. We don't want a situation after election. There will be a lot of litigation. There will be a lot of impeachment. There will be a lot of court cases. We are an institution that we want to make sure democracy stands in our country. What INEC is doing definitely some politicians will not be happy with what we are doing, because some politicians believe strongly that they can win election through manipulation, through rigging, through fraud. And that is what the present leadership of the electoral body is blocking. We are blocking all the loopholes that will result. We want anybody elected in Nigeria today is somebody with good character, somebody that is elected by popular Nigerian voters. We don't want manipulation. We don't want violence. We don't want people that use money to win election in this country. We want to do the right thing this time around.
I see.
And the registration exercise that we just conducted, we want to make sure that anybody that registers is the person that will vote. We want to make sure that one vote, one man, one vote, one woman, one vote. We don't want a system whereby people will register 10 times, and come and vote 10 times or sell their registration card to politicians. Nigeria is developing.
I see.
We will not allow this system to continue, and that is what the present Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is doing for the good of the country.
Alhaji, is that what you mean when you say that you are trying to ensure that only credible, committed, and God-fearing candidates are allowed to contest?
That's right. Because what is happening now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, by Electoral Act 2006, created a department that we call voter education and civic education. We want to educate Nigerians to know their right, to know their responsibility, to know the procedure in the democratic setup, so that the leaders they will elect are leaders that will be answerable to them. We don't want a leaders that will consider Nigerian eligible voters as their self. That is why we want to educate Nigerians not only to make a good choice of leaders, but also if the leader is elected, they have the right to recall them.
I see.
We want to empower the Nigerians, empower Nigerian eligible voters, that this time around we are not going to allow manipulation. We are not going to allow rigging. We are not going to allow any way of rigging election. Politicians should go to the nooks and crannies of Nigeria and campaign so that they can win the support of Nigerian eligible voters. If a politician is used to a system of winning election through using money, through using intimidation, through using manipulation, through using rigging, the time has gone.
I see. I see. I take it, therefore, that that is also what you mean, that the process or the exercise has been aimed at what you call weeding out dubious and questionable characters. Is that correct?
Well, what we're trying to do is we are not disqualifying any candidate. Our position is to verify the papers submitted to us by a political party. And if a political party submitted a candidate that we feel that candidate did not comply with the requirement of the Constitution of Nigeria, we will now refer back that candidate to the political party and say this candidate is not up to 35 years old. This candidate, his educational qualification is not up to secondary school level, high school level. This candidate is not a Nigerian. Maybe he is a nationalized Nigerian. We want a naturally born Nigerian.
I see. What about
the requirement of the Constitution?
What about recommendation from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, which, of course, as you know, has been focusing on alleged corrupt officers?
Well, we are a different organization. This question should go to the EFCC. We are not EFCC. EFCC is an organization created by the Constitution of Nigeria. So they have their role to play. Our role is different with their role. Yep. Whatever the role they are playing is their own responsibility, is not INEC responsibility. Our own responsibility by the Constitution of Nigeria is to conduct election.
I see.
Is to register political parties.
That is very good.
Is to monitor the finances of political parties. Is to look at candidates that are vying for political parties. But the EFCC has its own responsibility. I don't know anything about their own responsibility towards making sure that Nigeria has a credible election, good people that will lead this country.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much all the way from Abuja. Let me come to you, Lanre Banjo, at least for 30 seconds because we have to go for a break. How do you react to what you just heard?
Well, I'm glad that the independent INEC finally observed that we do not have a non-God-fearing president for 9 years. Now they are ready to give us a good God-fearing elected officials. But they have to be serious. They have to show that they're truly independent. Mm-hmm. Lamidi Adedibu in Ibadan was caught with INEC machine. 3 of them. Mm-hmm. Nothing has been done to him. How independent is this independent? That is one. When you look at he almost made a mistake saying screening. Mm-hmm. When you look at the exercise of looking at the credentials, the objective is right, but the process is wrong.
I see. Well, We'll pause for a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue our discussion, so please don't go away.
This is Straight Talk Africa on the Voice of America. Call us now with your questions and comments. The number is 202-619-3111, and the U.S. country code is 1. Call us collect and we'll pay for the call. Or call direct and we will call you right back. Remember, keep your questions brief. Now, back to Straight Talk Africa.